In other news, Canada's national holiday Thursday was marked by a grim reckoning over its colonial history after more than 1,000 unmarked graves were found near former boarding schools for Indigenous children. Several cities across the country canceled their traditional Canada Day celebrations, usually marked by fireworks and barbecues. The hashtag Cancel Canada Day was trending on social media, and rallies in support of the Indigenous community were held around the country. The 154th anniversary of the Canadian Confederation came one day after 182 unmarked graves were found near a former boarding school in British Columbia, where Indigenous children were forcibly assimilated. The discovery was the latest in a series that have outraged the country, with 751 similar graves found near a school in Marieville in western Saskatchewan province last week, and 215 found at the end of May at another school in Kamloops, British Columbia. Until the 1990s, some 150,000 Indigenous, Inuit, and Métis youngsters were forcibly enrolled in the 139 schools where students were physically and sexually abused by headmasters and teachers who stripped them of their culture and language. More than 4,000 died of disease and neglect in the schools, according to a commission of inquiry that concluded Canada had committed cultural genocide.
In a related news, police in Calgary, Canada, believe the vandalism of 10 churches in the city on Canada Day was done by people angered by the discovery of the unmarked graves at former residential schools. Vandals defaced the exterior of the buildings with orange and red paint overnight Wednesday, according to the Calgary Police Service in a press release. Now, one of the churches has a window smashed, so paint could also be thrown inside. Handprints, the number 215, and other markings suggest the vandalism was in response to the graves recently found at former residential schools, police said. Given the harm this chapter of our history has caused to Indigenous people in our community, it is understandable that emotions and tensions are running high. The police service says the dark legacy of the schools and the harm caused to Indigenous people cannot be forgotten. But it says the community has to come to terms with the past and find a path towards reconciliation. Alberta Premier Jason Kennedy called the vandalism of churches across Alberta appalling. On Wednesday, a Catholic church in Morinville near Edmonton burned to the ground, and that blaze is being treated as suspicious and is now